Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I am sure by now you have heard of Apple's AirTag. They are very useful and inexpensive tracking devices, provided you have an Apple device to be able to do that tracking. And over the last couple of months, I've been noticing an uptick of generic, low-cost alternatives that work the same way that AirTags do using Apple's Find My network. And I've got a bunch of them out here on the desk. I've gotten a little obsessed with them of late. And I want to show you some of the alternatives that are out there, because in some cases you can get these for half the price of the Apple devices, yet get most of the functionality. So we're going to take a look at some of the devices that I have accumulated so far to date. I do want to let you know, though, in the interest of full disclosure, that most of these third-party devices came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. However, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and see how these third-party trackers work. So here's all the different things that I am currently tracking now, mostly with these third-party trackers. I even put one inside of my daughter's favorite stuffed animal here. This is Violet. And when she was little, my daughter got head lice, and we had to thoroughly clean Violet, and we had to take the electronics out to do it. So it's very easy here to stuff a little AirTag up there so we can keep track of her. We once lost Violet in an airport, and it took a tremendous amount of logistical work to get her back. So now we'll get notified if we happen to leave her behind. Now, a couple of things to note on these third-party trackers before we look at all the different ones I've got out here. These will be set up as an other item. You don't add them as an AirTag, because Apple does license their Find My chips to other manufacturers to put into different types of products. And many of these manufacturers have chosen to make their own AirTags with these, but they are not considered AirTags as far as Apple is concerned, although for the most part I've seen things functioning pretty much the same. The big difference, though, between one of these and one of these official AirTags is that the Apple AirTag, if you have a newer iPhone, allows you to do this ultra-wideband location tracking, so that when you get to the location where Apple says the device is, you can home in on it like you would with a homing beacon or something. These third-party trackers do not do that. So all you'll do is see them on a map and when they were last seen, but the last couple of feet you're going to have to hunt around for yourself. Most of them, though, have little speakers on them so you can turn on a sound. Some are louder than others, and of course if you've got it stuffed inside of a stuffed animal here, it may not be as audible. Now, these don't appear to allow you to scan the tag to find out who the owner is either. So on the AirTag, if you happen to come across one, if you tap it to the top of your phone, you will get a little push notification that gives you information about who owns it. These third-party tags don't do that. The other thing I would recommend you do on these is to share them with people that may be around these devices. So for example, I threw one in my wife's Toyota minivan here, and for the first couple of days she was getting the stalker warning that some AirTag from somebody, me, was following her around or traveling with her. So if you go into the Find My app, tap on the item and click Share This Item, what'll happen is you'll be able to share the tracker with the person that might be traveling with that device without you, and then those warnings will go away and they can also track the device as well. So as soon as my wife gets around to clicking the notification, she too will be able to keep track of Violet even if I am not around. So let's take a look and see what's out there for these third-party trackers. Most of them you'll encounter are like this one here. They're kind of just a simple keychain. Some come with a little adapter loop and others do not, so you'll have to hunt around and find the exact layout that you're looking for. But pretty much they operate all the same way. You push the button here to turn them on. They beep and you pair them up with the Find My app on an Apple iPhone. Again, these only work with Apple devices because this is an officially licensed Apple product. And as you can see, you'll find that Apple Find My on all of these things. They would probably cost less if they didn't have to pay Apple for the right to connect here, but that's how this works. There are also kind of value packs that you'll encounter. So for example, these come in groups of 2, so you can save a little bit versus buying them individually. I think the cost of freight probably costs a good chunk of what one of these devices costs. So if you can get them in bulk, you will save quite a bit. So this is a 2-pack. This was also a 2-pack. They just came shrink wrapped together here. And this is a good example of some of the different sizes and shapes that you'll encounter here. So I'll just rip the box open here, not so elegantly, just to show you what is inside here. It doesn't come out easily. But again, all pretty much the same overall design, more or less. I wouldn't be surprised if these are made in the same factory or the components of them are, and each come with some kind of different little adapter. Some of them come with little spudgers here so you can get at the batteries. Most of these run with like a 2032 flat battery here. This one's kind of fallen apart, so the quality that you might encounter will vary based on different ones that you're looking at. But again, all pretty simple designs here and very easy to swap out those batteries over time. And there you go. So not quite as nicely constructed here as the Apple devices on some of them, although some are pretty decent, I think, for what you are paying. Now, you also will encounter some credit card size devices. And here is one that I like quite a bit. This is the Hive. It's got a nice shiny surface here. It's about the thickness of 2 or 3 credit cards. I actually keep this in my wallet now. And this one is rechargeable. As you can see, it's got some pogo pins on here with a proprietary cable that connects up to USB. So you can charge it every couple of months when the battery runs low, and you'll get a notification on the app when it is in that state. So this one I like quite a bit. This one I'm not as crazy about the same thickness. This is from Newtail. The problem with this one is that it is not rechargeable. So when the battery dies, you got to toss it out, which is kind of wasteful. The battery does last longer than it does in this one, about a year or 2 on this Newtail one. But again, once the battery dies, you're out of luck on that. Now, this one is my favorite so far, just because it's so different than some of the other ones I've encountered. It's called the Pincard. It is weatherproof because it is completely sealed. You can attach it to the outside of your luggage or stick it in something or whatever. And what's neat about it is that although it doesn't have any plugs for charging, it is rechargeable because it supports Qi charging, similar to what you would do with your phone. So if you put it down on top of a wireless charger here, it charges. So after about 6 or 8 months or so, when you got to give it some juice, you just find a wireless charger, plop it down for a little while, and then you will be good for another couple of months. And the fact that it's weatherproof here allows you to use it perhaps in places where some of these other ones cannot be used. And the price on this isn't that crazy either compared to an Apple AirTag. So lots of neat ideas here. Another thing you might find with these third-party devices is that they have different accessories included. So for example, this one is sold for dog collars and cat collars too, I guess. And not only do you get the collar attachment, you also get the tracker for what you might pay for just the attachment for an Apple AirTag, for example. So you can, again, save some money here and buy tags for different use cases. And if you browse around Amazon, you will see a ton of different ideas that manufacturers are pursuing here. Another idea I'm seeing is getting these trackers kind of integrated into other types of products. This is a MagSafe wallet from a company called Halo Lock. And in full disclosure, they had sent this over to the channel for one of our haul videos recently. And it's, one of these MagSafe wallets you attach to the back of your phone. But there's also a Find My tracker built into it, so you can track the item when you are out and about. And it just took my phone grip off with it here. And another neat thing about this one is that it is rechargeable also. It's got a proprietary USB cable, which, by the way, is different than the proprietary cable that this one uses. So you got to keep track of those USB cables, but at least it is rechargeable. Now, to find one of these, the best way to look for them is to search for a Find My tracker. That's how most of them are identifying themselves. And you will see a whole bunch of options like what you just saw here for less than what you will pay for an Apple AirTag with most of the functionality. So hopefully this was helpful, and until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Brian Parker, Budley, Hot Sauce and Video Games, Steve Green, and Amda Brown. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.